Dan said it's trending the right way for Deck to play Monday night. Just what kind of advantage does that give you guys, a 10-year vet who's done it at a high level for a long time? Just what kind of a boost is that for you guys?
I mean, Decker's, like you said, he's already done it at a high level. It always gives, I think, a morale boost to everybody all the time. Not taking away from anybody else, but when you've done it and been, a Pro Bowl player, stuff like that, and what Deck brings to the table, it's great. But he is definitely trending in the right direction, and it's good when he's out there. It's one less thing you're ever worrying about. So, but the guys that have to fill in when they're not playing is expected to play at that same level. Is it Gio? Is it Skipper? Is it anybody tackles on the roster? Is it Devin? Those guys, the expectations never fall. But Deck's doing well, so I like where he's at.
You guys obviously replaced all three interior guys, or at least shifted them around in some way. How challenging has it been to, develop that unit as a whole with Decker not practicing, but then still playing in a lot of the games? How have you approached that?
I think that's where we try to approach it a little bit in training camp and still, and those things to go all the way back there, OTAs, and try to, we were trying to, do a lot of things. We got younger inside, so it was a little bit, you probably didn't move them around as much as you would in the past, but that's where it all starts. These guys have been playing together for a while too, though, especially when it comes to Skipper, Yodi, those guys have been in that role before, so they've done a nice job. And it's really the biggest thing is making sure we get our work in Indy. The fits, communication's always been good. Those guys communicate. Each guy working together has their own little mojo, little communication, and so it works well. Just making sure you get those fits and gelling. Like I said, the expectation for us is whoever's in there, we don't fall off there. So they've done a nice job over the years being here. We've never had the same lineup, at least since I've been coaching here. We've never played all 16 and now 17 games with one unit. It feels very rare now from when I played a long time ago, but it happens and it's always fun. I know the guys always try to have those Ironman streaks, and Panay's been one of those guys over the years, but now that whenever we got in the lead this year, he came out, but so we're always trying to build that continuity, and it doesn't matter who goes in there, though. It's really communication's the biggest first start, and then fitting with each other on. Really, it's the double teams in the run game and pass pro, how you pass off stunts and do that. But they have a good approach, and that's where we practice it in the off season, really, to be ready for these moments.
I think we last time we talked to you was right before the start of the season, so 5-6 weeks later, whatever it is. Can we just get your impressions on the two young guys? How they've played so far, and maybe where they've improved the most?
Well, I tried to cancel this one because the last time we did talk was the first game, and it didn't go so well. So I was like, all right, let's change the routine a little bit here. So, but it was, I guess, you guys wanted to hear from me. I don't know why. I'm just the O-line coach, but. It's only, that was a rough start for us, I would say, as a whole unit, as a whole team. It wasn't something weeks back, but we got to build on it, for guys like Tate and those young guys, the first start going to Lambeau. It's special to go up there, but the first game, there's always those jitters. We didn't perform at our best. We had some mistakes up there, and I would say we've trended the other way and eliminating it and learning from it. So I think the biggest thing is anything good or bad, are you still learning from stuff? And we're always learning from the good plays to the bad plays. Of course, there was a lot of bad plays that game, and jokingly, we were like, we can't get any worse. We got to go better, So I try to always think of everything as a, half glass or water full. Sorry, I can't even speak up here, but it's always, half glass full, So I always look at the positives in things and take the negatives for what they are and learn from it all. So I think the young guys inside are trending in the right direction. Are they perfect? No. Even, our top guys aren't always perfect, but are we always trending, staying steady? And I think that's the difference in the line play is we got to be consistent and stay steady. We're never going to be perfect. We're never going to play a perfect game. We won't be perfect on blocking, technique, anything like that, but we need to be sound. And, we try not to throw fastballs and And when I mean like that to the quarterback, when every once in a while there has been, last week there was one, that hurt us. But as long as, if we're going to die a real slow death so we can get the ball out in time. And those guys are trending right, though. They're right where we want them to be. And I know they're not where they want to be career-wise, but that's going to come. They're still writing their pages in their first chapter of their book. And each week's a new page for that. And it's going well.
So much of their, the struggles that week one was about communication. When the communication is right, how have they played in your eyes?
I think good. But I said, we're never perfect. If you just watch our past game, we weren't perfect. At times that cost us, and we need to slow those down. And but I love where they're at. I love how they're playing. They play with their hair on fire. I always call Christian a dirtbag, and that's what I want those guys to be, those guards, and physical, and that's what they like, and they love to pull and hit people, and that's the type of lineman you want to have, and especially being guards in this league when we do a little bit of everything, so they're trending right, so we're right where we want to be. We're not perfect, but we're getting there.
As a rookie, Christian was such an anomaly to be a late round draft pick, to miss so much of the offseason program, and then to be called upon in a game and excel really. I'm wondering, as Miles Frazier's kind of going through a similar routine here, a guy that's not used to being out but has missed a lot of time, what lessons from your coaching experience can you apply that worked with Christian to Miles?
Yeah, we'll see where Frazier's at when he finally gets back with us, full time. And, even with Christian, you kind of take the same approach. Each guy might be a little bit different. I would say with Christian, at least we had the OTAs early. We got to see a lot. And with Frazier, he didn't do as many. He didn't get as many reps there because it happened early. But, we'll see where he's at. And, we'll take it one day at a time, try to get, first off, we'll try to knock the rust off of him for a while and get back to your football legs, and that's one thing. You can train all you want for this game. It's like, that's why there is training camp. There's that first week or two is all about, can I get my legs to be football ready? But you got to be in shape, and that's what they're doing now with them. And he's been in the meetings, and he was already mentally pretty sharp as a rookie coming in, so that's going to be one thing you're not so concerned with. But again, until you get in that live action, we can all do board works or on the film and say, hey, I blocked that guy, this communication. But when the bullets are really flying out there and things move and the front moves and coverage and rotation and stuff like that, it's just how fast do you react and respond to that. So we'll see where it goes from there. But I like the young man. I love this tape coming out. Loved a little bit what we got to see him in OTAs, and like I said, he's been in that room, mentally he's been in there, he's been engaged, and he'll be able to do more going forward after this bye.
Where have you seen Tate make the biggest strides? I know it's still early, but through 6 games, where have you maybe been impressed the most?
I don't think what I've noticed is he doesn't let one play affect the next play, and so learning from those mistakes would have maybe beat him in week one. Like I do like to say, you got to these guys is you're writing your chapter, and what I mean by that, you're writing your book. And if you were studying, you guys were taking a test or you were playing an opponent, who you studying? You're studying Tate Ratledge. If I'm going against Tate, I'm studying him. It's like him studying against the D tackles he's about to go. All right, what can I take advantage of? What works against me? What doesn't? Know my strengths, know my weaknesses, keep sharpening my strengths, getting my weaknesses better. And so that's where I think you're seeing the growth is like, hey, I got beat with this move this week. I know the defender is going to try this week, Can I recover from it? Can I learn from it? If you keep doing the same mistakes, we're not getting ourselves better. So I think he's just training that way, understanding, oh, shoot, I already know what beat me. I do, saying guys can beat us, but normally I would say D linemen are beating us because we allow them to beat us normally from technique. Now, we can get run over. We can get our ass run over and physically get put on our back. But a lot of times, did we underset it? Did we not throw our hands? Did we set to the wrong angle? And that's typically how most guys beat O-linemen. Now, sometimes they just physically just run you over. That's going to happen occasionally, but you're trying to limit those. But so can you learn from that?
Is there a player
Last time for 2 more, please.
from your era who you think is comparable to Vita Vea, and just what kind of advice do you have for your guys on a week like this when they just have to deal with that much mass?
I just told Graham to put 2 back braces on and let's go. But you know what? He played here, Nada Haloti. Elodie's very similar, especially in his younger days when he was with the Ravens, and playing against him there, moving him around, would walk around, come off the ball. I know he finished his career here. But there's a lot of guys like that, and it's impressive how well the first step he has, the quickness he has, the moves, the agility for being such a big man. He has it all, and it's rare to have that type of ability to, you would never say he's a true pass rusher, but he can push the pocket and become a true pass rusher, and that's what makes him special. That quick first step, being that big, can do a little bit of everything, and pass rush, definitely play the runs well. Clogs up the hole in the middle. So it's a long day. So jokingly, definitely put the back braces on because he's a load in there. He's a force. He's a very good player. We have a lot of respect for him, and really this whole defense. And Coach Bowles has been doing it for a lot of years. I played against him. I've now coached against them, and we have a lot of respect for those guys. So it's going to be a nice test for us once again that year.
A few times we've
had a lot of marathon drives this year, or a few that really stand out. What goes into that? I mean, the endurance level to do that from an offensive line standpoint, and then also the effect it creates on the opponent.
Well, I know this. I know for us, it can wear out a defense more than us. It's all in your heart, man, when it comes to that. And that's where Coach puts us in those situations. If those things come, we'd love to score in one or two plays sometimes, but those long drives, sometimes it can really set us up for more success because our body blows for defenders, that wears them out sometimes. But, I don't want to ever see a lineman tap his helmet to come out, D linemen are, but it just wears those guys on. But yeah, if we could score in 4 plays, we'd love to. But the mindset of the O-line, and here it goes. And it's really the way Coach Campbell sets up camp here. Sometimes there are those drives. We might set up ones versus ones, and it's supposed to be a 4-play drive, and all of a sudden he leaves the first team and the first team DN, and they went 12 in a row. So it's building that up. You're callousing your mind, your body to be ready for that and put in those situations. And I joke with the guys all the time. I tell them there's oxygen on the sideline. Once you're off, you can sit back. I'll even provide it for you, and we'll go there.
I just was wanting to know, just like the going into that, like the first drive against KC. I mean, were you guys kind of mapping that out to be that long, or was it, to set the tone? I mean, it's taking 10 minutes off the clock essentially in that game seemed like it was helpful also for the defense. The situation they were facing.
I don't know. I mean, our mentality every week is to go in there and do what we need to do. Is it run, throw, and it just happened to be. We took 10 minutes off, and it just happened to be a couple yards here, a couple yards there, and it wasn't as many explosives as we would like, run or pass, but it was efficient. And so as long as we're moving the sticks, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, it doesn't matter how it goes. But the longer you drive like that and keep somebody like Kansas City off the field offensively, it's probably even better too. But they did the exact same thing to us. We had 8 possessions, they had like 8 or 9. So again, we got to make sure on those long possessions we finish with points though when you're doing stuff like that.
John Morton's been in this league a long time, and he's been around a lot of great coaches. He has raved about your ability to put together protection plans. I know you love spotlight, and I know you love credit, Hank, but I'm just curious, like the development of that ability to put together protection plans, like how much of that was just from your playing career? What coaches do you credit in kind of helping you see the game that way?
Well, I mean, if you're crediting coaches, I would miss a lot of people, but it started, I would say, in college with Coach Walton was my head coach, and then Dan Radakovich was really a defense coordinator, but O-line in this league forever with Penn State, all that stuff, linebacker you. But really when I got to Philly, Juan Castillo, I always had to come early. I was the only one there early in the morning, sometimes, or say dinner time, and watching film with him and learning how to read coverages and stuff like that. So that's where I first really got to start. It wasn't easy at all. It's still not easy. But and defenses aren't getting any easier either. But I try to instill the same thing into the guys we have. We put a lot on our center, quarterback, and I coach the whole line like they're at center too, trying to call on, hey, what should be the call here? And look, we're never perfect on it. We do try to figure out some stuff. And if we can't figure it out, at least we know we're not where we're hot from, and Jarrett's get him very comfortable. So it's definitely been an experience when I was playing too, and just seeing it and being wrong sometimes. But when you're doing stuff like that, or even first and second down, I just remind the guys, or Graham, because he's the guy in the middle, and 16, golf, don't ever chase ghosts too. Don't let your eyes lie, and don't like overguess or second guess yourself. So everybody has tells everywhere. We have tells. Defensively, they have tells. Offensively, we have tells, and it's just trying to minimize those tells. So when it comes to protections, if we can unravel something or figure something out by either as a shift, motion, alignment, by one guy, and sometimes you're talking 1 yard, if we can get it, we'll get it. We'll try to get it, but we're not always there. But it was just something I think as a center, I always wanted to protect my guys. And I would really take, back then you took the DVDs home if you weren't staying at the office. And my wife would be sitting next to me and she'd be asking me questions. And that's how she really got involved. And she would just sit and I'd be on my DVD, just winding it back like, can I switch that? Can I not? What foot, hands back? There's a lot into it, but you don't want them to ever overthink and play too slow. Like you see it and go, make the call, here we go. But we definitely try to diagnose it and see if we can get it done. This week, he's very good at blitzing. There's going to be some pressures that we're not going to be able to see because they do a nice job with it. But the quarterback always says the point guard, and so as long as he knows his issues, where he's going to be hot from, and we can put it into his face, is it left or right, then we normally are pretty good. And golf, I would say, is really good at feeling these things and has grown every year since we've gotten him here. He's really taken a huge step forward, and I really appreciate how he's really became a student of the game here.